Okay, so now it is May 8th, 2022 at 9:13 in the morning, and I'm transferring files. Because these videos with HDD are very high and freaking so annoying. Yesterday I did the taxes, they're done. But I have to do these taxes. Do you see? I don't know if you can see. Okay. It's just all zeros. That's the GST part. And then when I get into the books, I get into all those pennies I get from HSBC Bank. I log every penny, people. But that requires a lot of eyesight. I'm working on it. Like I said, as soon as I'm done the taxes, which I'm done now, right? I'm going to get back on with what I was doing with HSBC Bank and just keep plugging forward, right? You know, there's a lot of paperwork involved there, which, you know, as I'm sitting here, you know, obviously petrified and fearful, and I've got all these things going through my brain, and you know, I'm trying to hold that steady course, right? You know, I'm trying not to rock the fucking boat here. You know, I'm trying to do my fair share as a shipmate, I guess you could say, you know, and just the whole 9 yards, right? And, you know, it's like, I just have to say what I have to say, and then after this little video, you'll see me doing the taxes yesterday at the table. And like many times, I had to cover up this eye. It's almost to the point where I'm going to have to start wearing a fucking eye patch. And then they'll be calling me Pirate Judy. Right? Which brings me to YouTube. And you know, and I look at all the different people who do videos, right? I don't even want to call them content creators because I wouldn't classify some of them as content creators. You know? I mean, we know we have the independent news reporters, so that's kind of like there. We have our, you know, nothing but cooking channels and gardening channels and those kind of channels, right? Then we have our prepper channels, you know, at multiple different levels in terms of financial capabilities to be a prepper in the first place. You know, it's one thing gathering up the food, people, and knowing that you can feed your family for 2 fucking years, right? And then be thrown out into the streets because a bunch of freaking pit bulls want to tear it down and capitalize off of rescuing immigrants. Like, it just dawned on me yesterday. I'm pretty sure I said that when I was at the table here doing the taxes. I mean, like, how dare you? Don't call yourself a rescuer or a warrior or anything of any sorts, because clearly you're not. So this is always nagging in my brain, right, people? Because it's like, that's how serious it is. That's how fast and quick it fucking happens. And the people that do it, like, they're so at arm's length and independent to the harm that they manifest. And they find ways to justify it, right? Because I'm like, okay, you know, you got plumbing problems. You've always had plumbing problems since you moved into this house, you know, and some of them have taken a long time to rectify. And even then, right, you know, we just whatever, right? A leaky boat is better than no boat. But what it does is it, you know, now that I'm on the one having my shit thrown in the bin with threats, so all it takes is a threat, people. Right? That will never fucking leave me now because this house is targeted. It's bad enough my family's been targeted for years and years and years and more years. But now the house has been targeted, probably since, 5 years after I moved in for sure. They left me alone for the first 5 years, just busting the ground and sifting the rocks. Yeah. And then when it started to look like a little nicer with more amenities, like the greenhouse, by that time it was done. And, you know, I had garden plots and, you know, I was starting to lay down the cement walkways and I had blueberries bushes and raspberry bushes. People became even more attracted to it and got jealous and wanted it for them fucking selves. And if it wasn't that, it was they wanted the property because just the property value itself had skyrocketed. And now it's out of control. Like, they fucking flip it, like, anywhere. I don't know, people. I don't even want to get into that conversation. But what it does is it makes me think how they imploded, how they've been imploding, like the property developers, obviously, that's what I'm talking about, right? How they've been imploding the neighborhood a little at a time, right? And now that it's like at my doorstep, basically, even though realistically, if somebody else was to buy this house, right, you know, they're going to sit on this property until it's demolished, because that's what it's slated for. So instead of having me in here, the one that did all the work to create the amenities, because, you know, they're important, right? They're not insignificant, and we'll do a yard check soon, and I'll remind you what I built and what I paid to build. I had other people build it for me if I couldn't do it for myself. And the financial investment that was in terms of materials, not whether I found it on the road and nobody wanted it and I brought it home, or whether I had to freaking pay for the lumber. Okay? You know, and I mean, it's been a hard house to live in. Okay? You know, house comes responsibilities, right? I've tried to keep up with those responsibilities to the best of my ability. I've even gone out of my way more than I could have or should have or did. Okay. And then I think of that little house that I was renting to try and get Sierra out of being homeless. And, you know, again, in the middle of the fucking winter, running around out there with 100 tents, in between tent to tent to tent. And I rented that little house over there. Right? And, almost from the get-go, people, it was like that bathroom in that little house had a problem, and it needed to be snaked out properly, and the landlord refused to do it. And I know that just for the fact that it kept backing up. And, you know, when I tried to approach him on it, he just justified that, you know, he was tearing down the house and that, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, he gave them something, I don't know, but at the end of the day, all it did was create squalor, right? In terms of not repairing that pipe properly. But because he knew he was tearing down the house, you know, whether it's 12 years ago, well, you moved into a house that is going to be torn down anyway, even though you can stay as long as you want. They didn't tell me about the part of it being torn down. They just said that you could stay as long as you want. Okay? And now that they really, really, really want me to go, they have not provided me an alternative outside of get rid of your stuff. You have too much stuff. You're a hoarder. You're this. You. Right? So that they're not going to tear it down. They're going to rent it out, people, for $4,500 a month. They'll break it up into 2 separate fucking suites. And they'll rescue an immigrant family, may or may not repair things depending on how close it gets to that demolition date, okay? And then kick out that family, literally, after they rescued them, right? Because they're sure not fucking gonna want to help them to get into another place after they're kicking them out, right? And that guy over there at that little house that I had, I mean, he was mean. That was mean what he did, right? Even though those people in there were addicts and they had issues, they didn't deserve to be mistreated with the fucking toilet backing up all the time because the landlord didn't want to fucking fix the pipe. But he expected his rent for the 9 months until the demolition date. He expected to get that. But he didn't expect to fix anything because he knew he was tearing down the house. Well, it's kind of the same mentality here. And it's been like that for a long fucking time. Only I didn't know it was going to be like that. And I've done my fair due diligence in terms of, you know, trying to freaking, if I can't get up the mountain, well, at least I can hang and just kind of like, you know, I don't want to, if I'm going up a mountain, last thing I want to do is be falling down it. And if I can't make it all the way up, well, at least fucking, maybe I can just kind of, you know, hang on. right? Versus just dropping off. Like, you ask me to buy my own appliances. I go out of my way to fucking do that. I actually came in with my own appliances, and you got your appliances back, right? And then when I needed an appliance for the ones that remain that, were in the house, you didn't want to replace it. Then you told me to go get my own. And so I went off and did that. And now you're telling me to throw it fucking out. And if I don't fucking throw it out, because I've got no place to move to, right? In light of how many years I've been here and what my responsibilities are, right? Okay? And you threaten me with a fucking bin. As I see bin, houses being gutted, houses being blown out. Like, this is not coincidence, people. Okay? The landlords whispering among themselves with my landlady saying, holy shit, you got a fucking problem with this girl. Why can't you get rid of her? Whisper, whisper, whisper. What can we do next? So I feel like I'm a sitting fucking duck. Well, I've kind of been feeling like that for years. But in the meantime, besides all of that, okay, I have to just take it one day at a time, follow through on, I would like to say, everything that I said I was going to do. But realistically, anyone in the real world knows that is impossible. Okay? So I'm going to follow through on what I can follow through, and I have a plan. And if the owner of this property, whether new or old, wants to disrupt that plan because they want to treat me like I'm a fucking addict that deserves to live in squalor because this house is going to be torn down anyway, right? Then whoa, okay, I lost the emotion of what I'm trying to tell you here, okay? Because that's basically how they're treating me, because I think of those people over there, who one of them was my daughter, okay? And I didn't get no fucking help with my daughter, even though I took on the responsibility of that house and got that house for my daughter. But even the landlord didn't give a shit. Okay? They kicked out Sierra before the landlord did. But at the end of the day, for the whole duration of their stay at that house, regardless of who they were, right? That landlord never fixed the fucking bathroom toilet pipe. And bathtub, the pipe. It was a pipe. It was a pipe in the fucking yard that needed to be fixed. Somewhere it needed to be fixed. And he didn't want to do it. But he expected his rent. And sure, he let me keep the people there for a little while, right up until the bitter fucking end. Wesley, that was his home. At the bitter fucking end of it, okay? He went out, got bum rushed in a gas station, beat the crap out of him, was beat so bad, but instead he went back to the little house, right? I got video on that, opening a door and seeing his jacket hanging on the fucking nail, right? Helping me to help the landlord to tidy it all up so that when he came in with his big fucking bulldozer and smashed it all down, it was less work. Because it already had all been tidied up. But we did it with a good attitude because we actually did appreciate that landlord for letting us stay there for as long as Wesley and Tanya stayed there for. As I'm running around town looking for another house to rent from another fucking Punjabi, and they're all saying no, 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 no. So as a collective, they basically evicted people that were on the fringe of life into a no man's land, because that is the fucking routine. When you know that and you're close to it yourself, right? It does things to your psyche. So if it comes to that, because don't think I don't think about it every fucking day when I look at this food. I got 45 pounds of organic green peas that can sprout with the fear of a bin. More than one. Be prepared to bring fucking 10. And you can go haul that off in your little recycling center and make a fucking profit on it for whatever it costed you to gut this place. Being that you expect me to get out of it, even before it's destroyed. And being that I've been in a house and I know what happens as they're at the cusp of destroying the house. In terms of, well, I ain't fixing this, I ain't doing this, no, but give me my rent, give me my rent. And then, you know, at the end of the day, fucking demolish the house and never ask once where those people went to. Never ask once where those living, breathing human beings went to. Because they don't care. But in my world, I've been working on a nonprofit for 21 freaking, well, going on 22 years now. And I have certain responsibilities that I'm supposed to meet, although I don't always keep up with them, I do admit. And that's only because I don't get enough help. For whatever reason, not feeling sorry for myself. It's not like I'm a great fucking role model here. I'm always swearing. Speaking of that, I'm like, I don't know why I'm getting like more subscribers, but I got like 914 subscribers. I've been just sitting quiet on it because I'm not used to that, right? And of course, I'm suspicious of everybody now. They must be my enemies, right? You know, like, you know, Julian's sister's recruiting that mob, so I'm scared, right? As if I don't got enough fucking mobs around me, right? So, you know, but I'm like, okay, well, I know you can monetize yourself, I think, I'm not sure, if you can get up to 1,000 subscribers, right? And I got to leave it on this because this is the point of this little part, right? Yeah, I have to stay focused, people. I have to remain positive to the best of my ability. Like, I so have to. And so anyway, I'm like, okay, see, I'm transferring files over here. And look what happened. I got distracted. And now I can't remember what I was talking about because my brain hurts. All right? All right? Transferring files takes a long time. I don't like sitting here idly. So I usually move around. So anyway, I don't even know. Okay, 22 years working on a foundation. I have a plan what to do in the summertime with the kids. I'm doing it for the kids, people. Andre and Jude and whatever little kid comes by. And then I'm doing it for the people around us, for the ones that actually try to enjoy life and, you know, and let people live. And I'm not doing it for the troublemakers that want to come down and tear down the fucking flag, okay? I'm doing it for the ones that want to come over and say, oh, what are you doing? Oh, really? Oh, that's nice. Oh, okay. You know, and then just go on their merry way, right? You know, while the kids learn skills. That's right. So that plan is there. And then, of course, you know, because, you know, I'm going to promote the foundation a little bit. Like, I'm going to allow the kids to set up at least one canopy for sure, each and every time they do it, so they learn how to go through that process. And then on a big event day, maybe we can plan one day where we can bring out 2 canopies just for fun, right? And build around that. And then, you know, get into these bins with these crafts. And I don't know what to do, people. I won't know until I actually attempt to do it. Now, whether I have the energy to do it consecutively, week after week, right? Because when you start taking things out and doing things in the community, whether it's in your own fucking yard or in a park or whatever, and you're bringing out bins, when you bring in back in the bins, they tend to pile up at the door. And then life kicks in and you get busy with other things. And it's not like I have a lot of room for this place. But then on the other hand, I have to get into this stuff and recycle it. I have to, you know, start using some of it, right? I want to. But it takes time and energy and effort to get to that point. And I haven't quite reached it yet. But I have the plan. But I also have the threat, which becomes psychological warfare, which wears me down because it makes me feel insecure and scared, right? frightened, which affects, you know, your ability to stay awake, because the chemicals, I think, go on in your brain and make you tired, thinking, tired, thinking, you get more and more tired, right? Because you're expending too much energy thinking on the fear of whatever it is that's making you fearful. So, anyway, oh yeah, 914 subscribers. So I'm inching up. They're just coming out of nowhere. I don't know where they come from. They don't say anything. That's fine. You know, I like to think that I provide substance. I know sometimes it takes me a while to get to whatever it is that I'm trying to express in terms of, do you see it now? Do you understand now? Can you realize what's going on now? Because, you know, yada, 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 yada. But at the end of the day, you know, it's all based on real life. And with that comes experience. And with that comes knowledge. And once you have knowledge, even if you don't have the experience, when you come across it, right, the knowledge that you have will help you to ease through the struggle that's holding you back. Because you already kind of know how to navigate around it because you took the time to listen to my videos, right? So whatever. So we're pushing up to 914 subscribers, right? If I get to 1,000, I don't know. I swear too much, people. I don't even know if I could monetize my channel. Seriously, I'm thinking, okay, well, let's just pretend. Let's just pretend. So you're going to monetize the channel when you get to 1,000. You're going to at least make an effort because it's that paperwork, right? It's that paperwork. It's kind of like I'm obligated. Did I not say if I ever monetize that channel, it would help to support the foundation? I have always said that. So no matter what's happening in my life, how dire straits I be, or whatever it is, that, you know, the foundations, we'll just say money is the foundation's money, okay? Basically, right? Because that's pretty much what it would boil down to. And so if I made, you know, okay, so like, so, right? And then I'm like, you'd have to fill out the paperwork. I don't know if I have the energy for that, but being that I'm always doing paperwork and I'm trying to squeeze it in, that should just be on the list. And then what I was thinking I could do is I could license out New Nations Unity, right, as a federal trademark. We're talking foundation now. We're not talking about leaky fucking toilets and freaking houses that are being demolished, okay? We're talking about a different thing here, because these are the things I think about when I think about this stuff, and I ask myself, do you really want to continue working on the nonprofit, being that you really don't get no help with it, and it's almost like people don't want it to happen. There's, you know, they've been going out of their way for years to sabotage it, and, you know, if they're not sabotaging, they're not participating, and, you know, which, okay, so, but at the end of the day, it's still a reality in my world. Right? You see, that's the thing. It's still a reality in my world. And it's not like I don't have the history behind it, because I do. So, with that, you know, I'm trying to be responsible. And if for some reason that my subscriber list creeps up to 1,000, then I'm going to have to ultimately make a decision whether I swear or not. Right? Because I do a lot of cussing, especially when I get mad, people. And I'm like, okay, but can't you learn to control yourself and just say, you know, instead of say fuck, say boo-boo. Well, that boo-boo, yeah, yeah, boo-boo, yeah, mother, boo-boo, you know, like, you'd have to retrain your brain, right? And I don't know if I'm capable of doing that, especially when I'm mad, people. So, you know, so for as good as my intentions are, if I could even monetize after 1,000 subscribers, because I think if I meet that point, I'm probably going to attempt to put the application in. Whether I'm successful or not, I don't know, because it's not as simple. You see, that's the thing. It's not as simple for a Canadian to sign up with that program as it is for an American, because with an American, the tax base is already set up there, because that's an American company. YouTube is an American company. Whereas, because I tried to sign up to sell hats or do something, I don't know. I think it was to work with a spreadshirt. Okay, and because it's an American company, there's a whole lot of other paperwork that I have to attach as a Canadian corporation to my application before I can be approved. Well, that would probably be the same thing with YouTube, because in that situation, am I paying two taxes? I don't know, because there's tax on monetization. I think on YouTube, these people that make this money, they have to pay taxes on it, right? Am I paying taxes as a Canadian, or is I'm paying? Where are the taxes being deducted from the corporation's part on the American side through that extra form that I fill in? So for me, it's like I have to work a little harder, right? Even though I don't understand what I'm doing. But the point is I'm willing to cross that bridge if it should come to that. And the way things are looking through my subscriber list, good or bad in terms of foe or friend, it's getting close to where I could make an attempt to monetize and try and replace the word fuck with boo-boo, okay? Because I'd have to replace it with something, right? Frick, okay, everybody knows what that means. But at the end of the day, intelligent people, often, maybe not all of them, but many of them, they do, people. They swear. So I make no apologies. So being that we're getting close, and that if YouTube did allow that to happen, there's two ways I could do it in terms of building up a little nest egg for the foundation. And of course I'd get my licensing fees. You see, there's rules and regulations around this stuff. And I come in with the old rules. I don't work with the new rules that have been chopped up and then taped over with some masking tape. Okay, I come in with the original rules, and from what my understanding. So let's just imagine we get to 1,000 subscribers. Nobody knows who they are, but they're there. Right? And I managed to get all the paperwork submitted in the right way. And we get approved, okay? And now we're monetized for this channel. Now you have to take note of this, okay? If I was to say who supports the foundation more on a national level in regards to the United States and Canada, I would say the United States people respond and support it better. Like they respond to it better, and they support it more with my interaction over through internet, and just the overall feel that I have in terms of, do it for your friend. In other words, do it for my American friend, because it's my American friend, even though I've never met them, who inspire me more to keep going. They bring me to the beginning of when I first started, and why I first started, and why it's so important that I continue to go forward on it as far as I can go before finally giving up. Okay? No matter what I'm up against. And we know I'm up against a lot in the province of British Columbia, Canada. Right? So with that, if we reach 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to have to make an effort to try and monetize that channel and set up a system where if money is made, right, it helps to support building onto programs. Once we have money to talk about, then we can open up the forum and talk about how we want to spend it and how it can help not only the Canadians but the Americans, because it will be probably on majority more Americans participating with it than Canadians. But because it's a little legitimate freaking foundation and trademark and all this other crap, there's rules and regulations around it. So, we're just going to have to learn as we go in terms of securing that paperwork. This is secured, people. This has been secured for 21 years. This is Revenue Canada. This has to do with tax that comes in at 0.00000 every year for how many years? But if we get to a status where we can, I don't know, I don't have time to do live streams, to do super chats and all that shit, people. I'm too busy, you know that, right? But that doesn't mean that I can't license out the trademark to another content user or subscriber. They don't even have to be making videos. If they want to pay their $3 to be a member to the program, to the club, to whatever, then they should be allowed to put their little, but the thing is, once you start thinking business, and try and test the waters, YouTube comes in and says you can't do it. You can't do it. So I don't know. But it's possible. There's something that we can do. So, like, for example, you know how people have their live streams and they do their super chats, right? And then they have people sign on as members, right? Like join. You pay $3 through YouTube, I guess, to join, and then whoever has that group gets a little bit of money for that process too, right? Well, let's say we had one of those, and people paid their $3. Technically, that $3 doesn't go to me, people. You see, this is where I'm under a test. This is where temptation, okay? This is where temptation calls, okay? Right? This is written into my fucking constitution and into my first beginning pages of, what is it called? The time capsule and all this crap, right? This goes back to the core, okay? Like, okay, so we have the super chats, we have the group that you can join to, which guarantees the $3, right? Going to basically the foundation, right? That's why the channel's name is called New Nations Unity. It's not Judy Chorney, right? It's not, right? It was always meant to promote the foundation. So the problem with someone in my position is not only am I the founder, but I'm also the owner in terms of the trademarks, right? And then, and just so many other factors against me that, people don't take me serious. But at the end of the day, I've always taken what I've done seriously. And if it ever got to that point where we had a super chat and a group that you could join into, a group that you could join into, pay your $3, then it becomes my responsibility on my end to take that $3 and make the investment into the foundation and continue to build on the foundation. Because if I don't do that, people, then I might as well go dissolution and throw it off to the curbside. Okay? Right? Stay true to myself. If I hadn't had this channel all these years doing what I've been doing, because ultimately and honestly, I've done it for the foundation to keep out there in the public, to inspire everything that I'm up against, to aspire to fight against it, and just I don't want to say good, because there's not so much good around anymore, and it's so hard to promote good. It was hard enough back then, but now it's 10 times freaking harder, right? But money talks, and we're getting close to the money. And we have to spend it wisely when it comes in. And I have to be true to my word. I got to be fucking bona fide. Oops, sorry. I got to be boo-boo bona fide. That didn't sound too bad. I have to be boo-boo bona fide. A boo-boo bona fide. Biatch. Right. Okay? I always figured I was playing hardball. Never softball, people. It's always been hardball. And we're getting close to that finishing game. Okay? They're either going to win or they're either going to lose. And if I can just set the precedence, that's all I need to do. That's all the foundation has ever been about when it came to my role. I just didn't think it was going to take that long to be able to retire, in terms of getting other people to understand exactly how it works and why it should happen for the benefit of society, because it's international, it's universal. That's what trademarks represent, right? So that might be coming up. I'll let you know. I'll let you know when we meet up to 1,000 subscribers. We're at 900 and I think 15 now. I mean, some of them could be fake user accounts for all I know, people. Right? And then, depending on where I'm at in my life when that time comes, you know, I don't know how viable I'll be to be doing the paperwork, but there are YouTubers online that might be able to help me to just get it figured out faster than, you know, like sooner than later. And just get the applications in. And we, you know, ultimately, we don't make that decision. The Boo Boo Corporation does. The Boo Boo Corporation does, right? I'm preparing, right? And then if we get in a position where we can make some money, well, just remember, my uncles were top-notch car salesmen back in the day. They were the best in all of Alberta, between the two of them, okay? So I'd like to think it's in my genes, right? So I'm gonna stay focused on that. Okay, that's the point. I just, and then as soon as I stop talking about what I'm thinking positive, as soon as I'm stop talking about thinking about, you know, trying to stay strong and, you know, stay that course and, you know, just push off whatever, you know, don't just get the fuck off. And, you know, I got more important things to be getting accomplished in life than to be having you drag me down. And, yeah. So taxes are done. This is next because I'm behind on this too, right? Right? I mean, it's simple. It's just go online, put in the code, put in the zeros, push send. But too many years, just, that's what happens when you do a lot of paperwork over a period of years, like 21, 22 years, right? In terms of just whatever, and you get to the point where it's just getting to do it, just, you just have to get to that threshold. And once you get to that threshold, then you can usually follow through up on it, and then it's just one less thing to do. So I'm going to put this, now, I'm going to convert it. And I have to get out in the yard, but it's been really freaking cold and raining and pissy and everything, so I'm going to try and maybe do some laundry today. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put my 45 pounds of green delicious peas and my buckwheat. I want to kind of I'm thinking to bag them up. I have two choices. I'm going to end it on this. I have three choices. I don't want to leave them in their plastic bags and put them in a bin. I just don't. Because those are more for long term. You want them in good shape in 2 years from now. That's the whole purpose, right? Just in case of what's going on in the economy. I figure I bought at least myself, I don't think we'd eat that. It depends, right? Depends how much I start using them when I really start using them. Even if I could get a year and a half out of them, a year, we'll just say 1 to 2 years, depending on how I use them and what I use them with. You know, I figure I bought myself a lot of time, people, in terms of being able to get through this other stuff, right? You know, and that's just simple. There's other shit in here that's really complicated to do, and I can't fucking see. And as I'm struggling to look, my brain is going like this, right? And then I stress my eyes out because I'm going from computer screens to different lighting, you know, to just, oh, it's terrible. But what else you gonna do? That's when I get to thinking, well, if a blind person can sit there and paint a fucking picture that looks like it was painted by someone who could see, then I'm sure I can brave that storm when my time comes, right? And have a good attitude about it and be able to accomplish something that would amaze people. I don't know what that will be because I've never been one able to play piano, but I've always said if I go blind, that's when I'll really learn how to play piano, right? In the meantime, I'm required to do all this fucking paperwork with this big fucking cloud over my head. Just, you know, and it's just, it's maddening. It's completely fucking maddening. Sorry, it's completely boo-boo, man. See, you can't do that. It's completely boo-boo maddening. At least I caught myself. Maybe boo-boo isn't the right word. Maybe I need to find a different replacement word. But boo-boo kind of sounded cool there for a moment, don't you think? I would think so. Alrighty, oh, this is it. Okay, so, I don't know, maybe I'm going to try something different here. I'll just do little clips like this to show in terms of what I give Amari, right? So this is Amari's little side dish. So what that is an egg, the way I like to cook it, in this little frying pan, right? Kind of like a poach, with about a tablespoon of butter, and then the processed sliced cheese on top, because it's the one that blends the most without getting gummy. And then in the frying pan, I poured just a little bit of V8 juice to just change the taste for once, right? Because, you know, like I said, Amari likes to eat. So I give him different flavors, that kind of stuff, right? So I thought I'd add in a little bit of V8 juice just to give it a little bit of a different taste, which it did. And then we've got frozen blueberries from the farms. They were fresh when I bought them. And then I froze them without rinsing. That's the best. And then you rinse them after you take them out of the freezer with some hemp seeds. I did a heaping full of hemp. Now I was thinking to grind them up in the machine. I'll put this back into the machine, but I don't think so. I think these hemp seeds digest pretty easy. Now I'm not going to give them. I'll bring this. I'll see. You know, he'll eat this no problem, right? So he'll probably like this with the hemp seeds. So whether he eats, I know he'll eat all of that, and whether I give him the rest of this will remain to be seen. But you can see, right? That's basically what it is, okay? If I don't give this to him now, I'll give this to him. Maybe I'll give this to him in a couple of hours or an hour from now. Just give him that, right? Because, you know, it's to digest, right? Hold on. Okay, he's done. So what I did is I let him choose as to whether he wanted to eat the rest of it. First I fed him that. Then I offered them this. And as you can see, he ate it. And it was about almost a cup of frozen blueberries. Obviously grinded it up, okay? Because that was a full bowl, right? And then I did a heaping spoon of hemp seeds. Now, the next time I do this with the hemp seeds, as I'm grinding up the blueberries, I'm going to put the hemp seeds in at the same time and grind them up together, okay? Just because, you know, right? I'm going to try that and just because he doesn't chew like we do, right? But they're so fine that I would think that they would digest very easily. But just to help a little bit, maybe. I don't know. I'll see, right? I'm going to try it once just to see what happens. And then, because I'm afraid if I break up the hemp seed, you know, I'm going to be losing, because, I don't know. Don't worry about it. I'm going to grind them up with the blueberries next time. Right? And he just gobbled it up. Now, the next meal, I'm getting into my freezers a little bit here, right? Like I said, Amari's not really a picky eater, right? You know, because I've provided lots of food choices for him. So what I'm going to do, this is chicken liver, right? Because, you know, I want to build on his, I want to build on his muscles. So I have to make a little extra effort to incorporate more meat into his diet without backing him up. That's why we mix the beef with the bran, right? And the blueberries, just as is, if I use them regularly, it really helps with the digestion. I haven't been using them for a while, so I'm feeling pretty confident that, you know, between the bran and the blueberries coming in, right, And then, of course, the liver, the chicken liver is very easy to digest, high in all kinds of vitamins and minerals, right? And then to add a little extra meat, I guess you could say, in this situation, I found some bacon that was frozen, so I'm thawing that. So I'm going to combine, what I'm going to do is I'm going to egg the liver, flour it, season it, fry it, right? And then I'm going to fry the bacon. And then after the bacon's fried, I'm going to grind it up in my little grinder, or the other little grinder I have. I have two different kinds for now. We'll see which one works better for that. And then, because it's liver, it will be easy enough to mash and whatnot. And it will be really, really tasty. And then put in the bacon. And I think I have a few potatoes around here that I can make mashed potatoes. Or maybe I'll make gravy. Rice. And I think I found a bit of broccoli in my fridge there. So that's going to be the next meal, right? With Amari in mind, okay? And I eat it. Andre, it's a hit and miss with Andre, but I know Amari will gobble it up, okay? And then I got my 45 pounds of the green peas. So I have 65 pounds of green peas that I can sprout or do whatever I want with them to put away. Now, I don't know. I'm not going to go off and buy a whole bunch of jars at this point. So they'll just go downstairs and I'll pick away at it. I've got other things I have to do. I might buy some buckets or something. I'm not sure yet. Hold on. And then, now I'm going to get back and doing into these taxes. I already did Tisha's, and I'm going to do mine now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this next year, because, seriously, I can barely see. I tell myself, well, if blind people can paint pictures and build miniature houses, and they're technically blind, you can do this, right? But, you don't know, people. It is so, so hard to see. So I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do any kind of paperwork next year. Like, I don't understand how I can get a pair of glasses that I can't even freaking use, right? I mean, obviously, when they open up their shop again at the end of May, I'm going to take those glasses back, and I'm going to ask them to freaking exchange them for something else, right? Because there's no point in charging the government $100 if I can't even use them for 2 seconds, right? And I still haven't gotten a call for a referral, which is to be expected, right? And even then, like I said, I'm not going to be able to have cataract surgery, people. I'm just not. I work too fucking hard. I lift too much weight. I'm going to be in the yard, right? I lift canners. I lift Amari every day, right? I'm on my feet all day long, bending and picking up and carrying, and like seriously, they'd pop out. They would pop out, right? So I don't know what's going to happen. I just don't know, other than I managed to get one set done. Now I'm going to get myself a coffee, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to focus on getting this done. These are my taxes, right? And then after that, I'm going to get back and working on the foundation stuff for a little while, because that kind of went on hold for a few days because of, one, I get tired, I sleep, two, I look after Amari, I get busy with other things, I had to put a couple of days in the yard, just starting to do that, right? And then after I get caught up a little more with just a few things with the foundation, then hopefully I'll be able to start migrating into all this paperwork for court. But of course, because of what's going on with the house, and just the fact that, it's pack up and be out of here in 4 months, which is completely impossible, right? And I don't see why I should have to leave to have somebody else just move in, and so whoever fucking owns it, I don't care who it is, can make $4,500 a month off this place, when I'm the one that put in all the effort. I'm the one that built the greenhouses. I'm the one that built the hen house. I'm the one who built the big greenhouse. I'm the one who built the hen house. I'm the one who built Mr. Lace's cat house, which was Mr. Lace's rooster coop, right? Which I'm turning into another greenhouse, right? I'm the one that built 2 fucking sheds in the back. Then I built another shed in the back driveway, a really nice one with a pointed roof on it. I had to pay for that, right? And then I got a shed in the front. I'm the one that busted up the ground, right? And made it so that you can even plant anything to begin with, right? I'm the one that put like 11 years into this yard, people. So much so that all that grit, dust, and mud, and pollen, and gravel, and everything, you don't think that didn't instigate the deterioration of my eyesight? Of course it did. But I did what had to be done, and I'm at the tail end of it, right? It's been really, really, really cold for like 2 months, right? So, you know, I got to start seeds pretty soon because it's going to warm up soon, right? But, you know, Murray takes up a lot of my time, people. Like, I have to do laundry again. Right? I was like, it just never ends. And eventually I will move. Because I'll outgrow this house. I myself, like I said personally, outgrew this house years and years and years ago. But I had a family, had to stick it out. Then the family started to die off. I had nowhere to go. I had to stick it out, right? Hold down the fort, right? And now I'm here, right? Getting pressure from all sides to move out into a no man's land that is basically an ocean full of fucking sharks with no boat in it. Okay? Like, that is unfair. That is completely unreasonable and is completely unfair due to no fault of my own. Right? I could see if I trashed the house. I could see if I was wasting my money in terms of I didn't buy all this food. I bought the extra peas, people. Okay? So that I could have them for 2-3 years and not worry. And I'm already worried what's going to happen in 2 or 3 years from now when those peas run out. Okay? But I have enough now. I have 65 pounds upstairs that I have to put away, plus whatever I bought last year and jarred them up. Okay? Because those ones I put into jars, right? But I don't want to spend $72, $73 for 4 fucking jars right now. Okay, so I got to figure out a different way. I'm thinking to put them in bags and vacuum seal them and then box them up that way. And then this way, it might be a little cheaper, right? Because the only thing that would cost any real money would be the vacuum sealing bags. Paper bags doesn't cost nothing, and I've got like a whole bunch of them anyway. So I just have to buy 1 box or just some extra rolls to vacuum seal the peas up and that little bit of buckwheat, right? You know, because I'm getting ready for the big storm, people. The big storm when the economy really starts to tank with less and less and less food. Or it's just way, way, way too expensive. Right? So that I can ride that storm through. Don't know what's going to happen at the end of the storm. Right? But, like, I shouldn't be punished for that, people. If I was running around doing drugs, buying, I don't know, fur coats, diamond rings, stupid shit like that, so I could run around in the community and brag about my flashy fashion style with my diamonds and fur coats, right? Then yeah, I could say, you know, I was being frivolous and being selfish and all these other things. I wasn't being selfish when I bought this food, people. I was being frugal. Okay? And if you want me to leave, then help me to fucking leave to a place where I can live and raise my grandson and look after him properly with the amenities that, you know, he needs. And my food won't spoil or be thrown out in the garbage. Otherwise, whatever it is that you think you guys are doing in terms of property developers, saving the fucking immigrants, you're not saving the immigrants. You're just bringing them in, propping them up, and then you're going to eventually, one day, pull out the rugs from underneath all their feet, like you've done to my family and other families that are falling through the cracks because of this shenanigans, right? And they'll just, like I said, it will be just feeding that pipeline for illegal organ harvesting and other illegal activities to carry on, right? If it wasn't happening, I wouldn't talk about it. Okay, this isn't business as usual. This is organized crime, right? So, knowing all that, knowing that, the axe is over my shoulder, ready to come down at any freaking minute, right? At the whim of a, drop of a hat, right? I get panic attacks. It's bad enough I can't fucking see. It's bad enough I can't go for cataract surgery because I know what will happen because I'm required to work like a fucking workhorse. And I do. So I have to put it off maybe till wintertime for cataract surgery. After the yard is not blooming anymore and everything shuts down, then maybe. But don't forget, I'm still going to be cooking. I'm still going to be lifting baskets of laundry. I'm still going to be lifting Amari. I'm still going to be doing this, doing that, do. And then if I get the pressure, well, you got to pack up and move out, because if you don't, we're going to bring in a fucking bin. Well, you better bring in fucking 10 bins. How about that? Are you prepared to spend 10 all that money for 10 fucking big ass bins just so that you can wake up the fucking neighborhood and destroy a family and a little disabled child and starve him out of his country, basically starve him out of his fucking country? It's enough that he got injured by the so-called working professional. Now you want to starve him out and kill off his grandma and the rest of his family just so that you can bring in immigrants and say that you're saving them. Okay, that's asinine. That's completely fucking asinine. I just want to get a handle on my life and ease myself out of here into a position where Amari's going to be taken care of properly. Right? In terms of the food, the bathing situation, that kind of stuff. Mobility, right? Just, right? Who wouldn't want that for somebody that they love? Right? But I get punished for wanting that for somebody that I love. Okay? And it eats me up, and it makes it really hard to focus when I need to do things that I gotta focus on, even though I can't fucking see anything. Do you know how hard it is to do taxes when you can't even read what's written there? The only reason I can do it, people, because I've been doing it for years and years and years and years and years and years. And I have my backup copies from last year. So I use that as a guide to basically try and find what I need to find. Because that's how hard it is for me to see. And that's how I'm going to be working on the foundation shit. That's how I'm going to be working on Shimei shit. So I don't even know what kind of state my eyes are going to be in by the time I get to fucking court. Okay? Like, seriously, they are that bad. And for some reason, people think they can just trash me. And trash my family. Right? And it just so happens it's easy for them when they're dealing with a blind person. Right? Wear down their immune system. Make them feel this. Make them negativity. Right? Just break them. But we're gonna save all the refugees. We're gonna save all the immigrants. Because for some reason, they're a better class of people. How does that fucking work, people? Okay? How does that work? Money is not just the driving factor here. Organs is a big one. Okay? And other criminal activity that's involved in terms of drug sales, prostitution, that kind of crap. So anyway, all right. Yeah. Amari's side dish. We know what we're cooking later. That's assuming that I don't crash, because I get real tired, people. It might just be vegetable soup in a can. I want the liver, though, with the bacon. And some gravy with either potatoes or what is that called? Rice. But who does all the dishes? I do. Who does all the cooking? I do. I do everything. Right? That kitchen's too small. Right? It's too hard to get Andre in there washing dishes at this point because it's just too small, right? There's no, like, I'm warning him. I'm warning him all the time. Andre, you got to start washing dishes, you know, even just if it's a little bit. You got to start learning how to wash dishes. Because I'm exhausted, people, like, you know. And when you start losing your eyesight like this, like, everything slows down. Right? Because you have to, you know, you have to take time to walk even, so you don't fall, right? Or, you know, your peripheral vision is gone, so you don't necessarily see things when you're doing whatever, right? Or you lose your balance. You get dizzy, right? Right? Every now and then. I'm like, whoa, because of the eyes, right? You know, and like looking at this, it's like, you can barely see it. Right? The only reason I can do it is because I've done them before so many times in the past. And I've got my one from 2020 that I can use basically as a just, you know, go through it quick. Right? I just copy and paste, but change the numbers and then calculate the new numbers. That's it. Right? And I have to think twice as hard, look twice as hard, struggle. Right? Like it's like you can barely read anything. Right? Right? You know, and I'm trying to have, like, I'm trying to be brave about this, people. Right? I'm willing to put off fucking cataract surgery so that I can finish up the yard this year and just, you know, can the grapes, can the apples, can the raspberries, do something with there's the blackberries, right? I've got the plums, you know. The world is on the verge of going to war, for crying out loud. Like, literally, they're stockpiling on freaking missiles and torpedoes and all kinds of crazy crap. Everybody's positioning their nuclear missile heads to start shooting at each other. If that happens, I already said, I take the kids downstairs, I pencil them in with a whole bunch of freaking blankets so that to insulate them from dust and all this other shit, right? You know, I've got enough food to feed them. This year I was going to work on the water drums and just, you know, because that's my weak area, right? Although I do have, I do have water purifying tablets, water testing kits, that kind of stuff. I do have that kind of stuff. And I got a bit of water stored away. Not a lot, but I've got the water drums outside that I thought I'd get filled up this year, just in case. Just in case, people. It could be it could be a freaking earthquake. It doesn't have to be a nuclear war. But none of that's subsiding, right? They're all posturing, these guys. They want war. War makes money. War depopulates the planet, right? War brings in confusion, right? Order out of chaos, right? Right? You know? And the ones that have money, they're insulated from it to some degree, right? They go into their bunkers, they go to different countries, they go onto little islands, wherever, right? But when the shit hits the fan, I don't know. Like, why should my family be the first one pushed out when I did all the work in here, this yard? You think it's going to be easy for me when I leave this house, people? In terms of the amount of effort I put into the yard with the sheds, the greenhouses, the hen houses, and all that other crap? It's not going to be easy for me. Do you honestly think that I want to start all over again in a new house and recreate what I created here? No. One, because I'll be incapable of doing it because I can't fucking see. Okay? I don't even know how I'm going to use a hammer or a skill saw this year. But I tell myself, well, if blind people can paint pictures and blind people can make little miniature houses with miniature furniture inside, and they're technically blind, or whatever it is else that blind people can do that's amazing, well, I'm just going to have to find my niche and be able to do things too, right? To the best of my ability. And the first thing that I'm learning is you have to go slower. So everything slows down, although the pressure is still there, right? In terms of keeping up with the pace, huh? And I have a full plate because, you know, right? I'm already planning the second Amari's meal, right, with Amari in mind, because I want to give him more meat products, whether it's liver, pork, chicken, turkey, fish, beef, right? Yesterday he had beef. Today he's going to have liver, which is easy to digest. So it doesn't really matter what I put it with, and I know he'll just gobble it up because he loves it, right? And I'm going to just flavor it up a little bit with that bacon, okay? But in the meantime, I'm having serious panic attacks. And that's not fair. That's not fair. To be rescuing immigrants as you kill off the Canadian people, that, you know, there's no rhyme or reason behind it. And if they don't like the way I fucking say it, that's too bad, because that's the reality of it. Right? They don't walk in my shoes. They haven't had things happen to them like it's happened to me. Right? And it's not because they're better, or they made better choices, or they became doctors, lawyers, or fucking teachers. Because a lot of those doctors, lawyers, and teachers are actual fucking organized crime. Right along with the Eleanor Gildings, who happen to be white, that participate in organized crime. So I'm not pointing my fingers at any particular ethnic group here. Let's keep that straight. Right? But I'm also not going to sit here and not say nothing about it and just have my teeth kicked in as my head's being smashed out. Okay? If you want to take it there, well, I'll get ugly as I can for the few moments that I've got left on this planet. And I'll sock it to you back. Right? What else are you supposed to do? I don't know, because the world is just going nuts in general. In freaking general. So you can see how I start this. I can barely see. What happens is the numbers are shifting around. Okay? Things shift around because this eye is half blind. This one here, the left eye, it's half blind. Right? I only have a little vision, and I have to go like this. Like, really, I have to really cock my head. Okay, if I look at it like this, I can't read shit. Okay, you watching? I can't read shit. But if I turn my head like this, now I can somewhat read from that eye. That's how whacked out my eye is. And so therefore it throws this one out. And then it makes my head dizzy. Sometimes it makes me go like this, right? And depending on how intricate the work is, in terms of threading a bead loom, I was surprised I could even do that. But my eyes deteriorate almost weekly. I can feel it. I can see it, right? That's how fast they're deteriorating. I haven't been using the aloe vera plant here since I knocked myself, right? Because I'm always busy. I never really look after myself or do anything with myself. I'm a mule, right? I live in a barn, right? I get up in the morning and the first thing they do is put on the harness and whip my ass and say, get to work, right? So, you know, and it's been like that ever since I moved into this house, okay? It's been like that ever since I had, well, my life, really. But it got real bad when I started having kids because, you know, kids comes work. But it got really, really bad when I moved into this house because of the numbers of people that moved in with me and just with the way the house is situated, yada, yada, yada. Right? But I'm being gung-ho about it. You know? I'm looking forward to doing some little stuff out in the front. I don't want to lose sight of that, people. I don't want to, oh, woe is me, get bitter and do nothing. Right? And I just don't want to. You know, I want to, like, for example, those guys over there, that pack of Punjabis, the ones that mind their own business, and basically they're good guys, right? They've been there for years. They threw out some stuff. Andre told me last night, oh, Nana, there's stuff out in the road. Come see. And I said, nah, I don't want it. I don't want it. So I guess everybody picked through it over the wee hours of the morning. And when I got up this morning, I thought, oh, just go take a look. There was just 3 things out there, a few things, right? And so I went and looked before I started my day. And what it was a bucket, a food grade bucket that just needed to be washed. So I'm like, I scored because now I've got a bucket to put at least 1 or 2 of these bags of peas into. I don't know if I have a lid, but I think I might be able to find one kicking around the house that might fit it. And even if I don't, that's okay. I'm very grateful to have this bucket. And then I found a lid for a different kind of bucket that I brought that lid, well, 2 lids. And one, I can either use one of them as a bottom of a planter pot, or I might be able to use that lid on another bucket that I have around the house in addition to the other bucket. So I feel like I scored, people. I know it doesn't seem like much, an old bucket lid that was dirty, but for me, I was grateful to have it. I even thanked the guy because he came out. I said, "You don't want it?" He says, "No." I said, "Well, thank you very much." Right? And then a little table, because I'm thinking, to set up something outside in the front and provide a little area for crafts. But I don't want to go off and spend $400 for tables. I used to have tables. When I did park events, I had lots and lots of tables. Riley inherited all those tables because he was storing them for me. And then shit happened and I never ended up back out at the park. And he just kept the tables and I just, whatever, they're gone. They're gone. I lost probably about, I don't know, 7 tables, fold-up tables, big-ass tables, okay? That's like $700 in tables just out the fucking window. Right? I'm not complaining, I'm just saying. Right? So I don't really want to... I have one still. One. But one won't be enough. It will only be big enough for the DJ equipment. So I'm actually thinking to buy a table just to be able to have another table out there for whatever. So anyway, they had this little coffee table out there. Little beat up. But for what I need it for over the summer, because I have children's chairs, like the toddler chairs. I have toddler chairs. That if I put four little toddler chairs around that little table out on the grass with the kids running around as they're walking back and forth up and down the road with their parents and they want to come do a little craft and watch the boys do whatever the boys are doing, or maybe they want to buy something in a yard sale, right? Their kids can sit there and paint a picture or make a little fridge magnet or something, and then they can go on their merry way, okay? Didn't cost me anything for that table, people. And I was very grateful to freaking get it because I needed that. I need that for what I want to do this summer to just brighten up the neighborhood and, right? Make it a little fun, right? Even though the world might be blowing up any minute, okay? Literally with nuclear missiles, okay. Okay, and you want to kick me out of the fucking house? So that you can get more money, whether it's the new owner or... No, my landlady's not kicking me out. She's selling the house. And that's fine. I can respect that. But at the end of the day, you have to look at the greater picture as to what's going on, as into how they stimulate this economy in British Columbia, Canada. That if there was no criminal activity, there would be no economy. And it's coming to that. And when it gets to that point, these individuals that do this shit, they're still going to be accumulating mass wealth. Because that's the way the system is set up. Now, don't think I can see this very clearly, because I can't. The numbers are jumping around as they're moving because this eye doesn't work. So it clouds everything over, right? I'm just showing you how I do this. And this is how I'm going to be doing my paperwork for the next 5 months. Between nonprofit stuff and court. I'm going to try and give myself a task of one binder, one every 1 to 2 weeks. I have to list a binder. These binders are big, right? In terms of that document list. Right? I figure if I can do that, one binder a week, at best 2 weeks, I should be able to have all the binders listed. I don't know about photocopied and scanned, but they should be numbered in terms page to page to page to page, up to 200 pages at least. And then, what do you call it? Listed down so I can submit it to court. Right? I don't know. I've been getting a lot of people joining this channel, like, subscribing, eh? I don't know who you are. You're not really saying anything, but I do appreciate the support. I'm still getting signatures on the petition. Obviously, I need to do a follow-up on that. We're at 2,300 now, people. Okay, so that's good, right? So, of course, I've got that on my mind, right? And, you know, I want to make some web pages. I don't know how well that will happen because I want to do some updates with the foundation on the website because I'm just not ready to give it up yet. I'm just not. You know, if it's taken away from me, like my house is taken away from me, like my food is taken away from me, like my grandkids are taken away from me, like everything else is being taken away from me, then so be it. That's what happens. But right now, it's just, you know, it's doing what it normally does. Nothing. It's just dormant. It's sleeping. It's the sleeping giant. That's the way I see it. It's the sleeping giant. Wait till it wakes up. More reason to go out into the front yard and brighten up the neighborhood and bring smiles to people's faces. Okay? Seriously, more reason to do it. So, I have to stay focused on that. Right? I have to stay focused on that. I can't get discouraged. And as you can tell, how many days later since I paid rent, and I'm still having these panic attacks, trying to convince myself not to worry. And then what I'm finding here is, as I'm writing the numbers, right, you know, technically you're supposed to kind of keep things nice and close, you know, right? But because of this eye, I'm like way over here when it should be over there. Like I'm not lining up things very correctly. Unless, of course, I slow down everything. Hum. And really just try and fucking figure it out. I don't think I'm going to do this next year. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. And the older I get, the harder it will get for me to continue with my everyday routine. So obviously at some point things are going to fall off the grid in terms of, you know, the next time I move, I doubt I will take on such a big project when it comes to a yard activity, you know, in terms of yard work, right? That's just a no-go. I think that just probably won't happen. There'll have to be a little bit of a yard, right? I wouldn't want to be completely solely dependent on a freaking grocery store in a time of war or just whatever, but it's not like I can even move to another province, right? Because it's everywhere, first of all. And the more you go that way, it gets colder and colder. And, you know, I'm feeble in some ways. I don't react well to the cold. You know, because I'm skinny. I have no fat on my body, right? So there's, you know, and I'm young. I'm older now, right? It was hard enough on me when I was younger. But now it's like... Anyway, so I guess I should focus on this. So you can see I'm trying, and then like I said, once this is done, then I'm going to go back and work on the foundation, with the banking situation, because the lady I'm working with is probably waiting for me to hand in what I need to hand in, but, you know, there's other things I have to do in a day, and then I get real tired and I just crash. Right? And then I get back up and I start all over again. That's it. That's all I do. Every day. I'll cook later. Dishes will pile up. I'll be too tired to do them. So they'll sit. And then in the morning, when I get up, at some point, I'll be spending 2 hours doing dishes all over again. And then every day. Over and over and over and over. So I'm going to get on with this. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. Hold on.